Should Congress and the Senate have an age limit to be in office? I just want to point out to everybody, we do have an age minimum. The House has a 25 is an age minimum. The Senate has a 30. As of right now, there's no maximum age. And so you'd have to probably amend the Constitution to do it. But go ahead. Should we have an age limit?
Has been on people's minds recently with the retirement of Nancy Pelosi, who is 85.
85 years old. Jesus Christ. Why are these politicians so old, and why are they still in office? Are these permanent positions? Is this the permanent bureaucracy that Trump was talking about? Because this sounds exactly like what was described as the deep state. People that just stay in office throughout administrations, and their funding, the only people they have to appeal to are the same donors they've always appealed to. So they don't give a damn about the public. They don't care about their constituents or the people, because their donors are who are going to keep them in power forever. These are dinosaurs, 85 years old. These people were born during or like right after World War II, or actually during World War II, if she's 85 years old. This is insane. This has to be one of the biggest security blind spots on earth. People that are just staying in office past even the age of life expectancy in the United States. This is crazy.
But she's a mere whippersnapper compared to Chuck Grassley, who is the oldest member of the Senate at the grand old age of 92.
Wait a minute. We have a sitting senator that's 92 years old, and nobody's protesting, saying we need to throw him out, asking, is he a vampire? Is he not a vampire? Why? How is he still in office? Who's voting for him? Who's keeping them there? These are all questions that no one asks, because just like with the illegals, these positions are never open to the public, because these people occupy them forever. They don't even know, they don't even use social media. They have no idea about what's going on in modern time. I don't know anybody besides Trump that's over the age of 65 that's even connected remotely to anything that's up to date or current. So why would we trust politicians that are literally just sitting there drinking off the public, basically perpetually forever? They're literally vampires, just there for life. Now that I mention it, I remember seeing Dianne Feinstein literally being pushed around on her deathbed as a vegetable, still in office. You know, these people literally control the policies of one of the most powerful, most important country in human history. They are literally our politicians. They're supposed to keep the country together, make sure there's checks and balances. Do you know Congress has not declared war since World War II. We have not officially been in war where Congress has declared it in all these years. However, we're bombing and attacking and fighting with people every year. So why is that even a thing where we have to pretend we need to go through Congress? What does Congress even do anymore? There's probably about 5 people that I can name in Congress that are active. The rest of them, I have no fucking idea who they are. What do they do? How do they exist? They're not really, I mean, you would consider them a public figure. We don't know them. Never heard of them. Who do I know that exists? I know Mitch McConnell. I remember him because he froze. Schumer, because he's a Zionist fucking war hog, animal, liar, gay pedo. You know, his wife's a husband or wife's a man, whatever. Who else do I even know that's in politics? These people, they're just unknowns. I'll be honest with you, until the lockdown, I would say 90% of Americans didn't know the names of our governors. Because why did we need to know them? No one cared. They don't do anything. Until the lockdowns, everything in the country was pretty much the same every year since God knows when. All of a sudden, when lockdown came, and then you saw that each individual state was actually its own country, and your governor was really your own president, and you had to choose what country you wanted to live in. I didn't want to live in the country of California anymore under President Newsom. So I evacuated. My other Californians tried to do a recall and kick him out of office. Even though he's on the younger side, he's an extremist, he's a liar, he's a thief, he's a con man. And the reason I say he's a thief and a con man is because billions of dollars disappeared. He promised to fix the homeless problem and trash problem in San Francisco. It got worse. He promised to fix the homeless problem in California, in California altogether. It got worse. He promised to build a what is it called? Like a light rail. I wouldn't even say a light rail. It's like a bullet train that was supposed to connect, the Bay Area to Los Angeles, and then it's supposed to go from LA to Las Vegas. We still have Amtrak that goes about 27 to 30 miles per hour. But billions of dollars went to building about 2 miles of track. A failed governor in a failed state, crime through the roof, and he wants to talk to me about child mutilation. None of these politicians should have the privilege of being in office for that fucking long. Especially these, okay, let's look it up. Well, I wanted to finish this video, but let's look up some of these people's ages, shall we? So look, let me see the 20 oldest current U.S. politicians that are in office right now. Chuck Grassley out of Iowa, 92 years old. 92 years old. Now, let's see if people understand politics. Politics is a negotiation. What could a 92-year-old man offer you for your vote and your support? What, Golden Grams? He's going to offer me, I don't know. Well, what's something, a vintage stopwatch? Like what can a 92-year-old man talk to me about that's going on in our country, in our society right now? And what could he offer to do for me? That's what I mean. We're not even being given the option to vote for these people. They only campaign and appeal to a handful of donors. Just the people that give them money. The rest of us, to hell with us. That's why they don't respond to your letters. That's why they don't take your call. They don't need to. And they're too old. They just sign whatever they're told to sign. They don't think. They don't talk. Have you fucking heard AOC talk? Have you listened to Jasmine Crockett? If it's not talking bad about white people, can she say anything? Same thing goes for AOC. What can they do? They make you angry. They want you to get upset, and they want you to go outside and protest. They have nothing of substance to talk about. There's no strategy for how to change anything or make anything better. They're just scammers. Every blue moon, you get somebody that's talking about something about, well, this is the policies I'm going to put forth. None of the rest of them do anything. Let's see here. 92, the second oldest right now, Hal Rogers, never heard of him, out of Kentucky. 87 years old. We have a fucking, this guy is the wizard from Lord of the Rings. We have Gandalf as a current U.S. representative right now. Why is he in there? This list is the deep state, the permanent bureaucracy of people who you don't elect, but they don't answer to you, but they control your life and your future. They control if the illegals can come in, take your jobs, and put you in the unemployment line. They control if your kids are going to be boys and girls forever, or are they going to be transitioned? Are they going to have to wear masks in school? Are they going to be forced to take experimental drugs that are going to cause them to have myocarditis and pass away before they turn 20? We don't know. That's what these politicians are deciding, and you are allowing them. This is something that Trump's been talking about lately, but I didn't pay too much attention to it. There's been a lot of news going on. But Trump said there needs to be age limits. There's no way these people should be in office for 60 to 70. When some of these people got into office, the show I Dream of Jeannie was literally on prime time. They were watching the Brady Bunch literally when they were elected. They were like, let's go celebrate in the living room and watch the fucking Marsha Brady. These people are old. These are people who are 2 or 3 times our age. They don't even know. They don't even use social media. They have no idea what a computer is. They don't have smartphones. A lot of them have rotary dial phones. And actually, it's their assistants that do all the work. They just have the name. That's it. It's a permanent. And the assistants, just like with Biden, with the auto pen, the people around them, we still don't know exactly who was the president when Biden was in office. So who's actually calling the shots for Grassley? Hal Rogers. There's a woman, a DC delegate. She's 88 years old. Maxine Waters. Oh, I can't hate that. I can't stand that James Brown looking bitch. She's 86. And guess what she's good at? Nothing. She's trash. She's accomplished nothing. The only thing she can fucking do good, only thing she's good at is insulting white people and complaining about Trump. Never accomplished or got anything done. These people's districts are the worst in the country. The most crime, the most death, the most murder, the lowest literacy. So what's the point of leaving these people in office? Old as fuck and disconnected from the citizens and from what's going on in their areas. Why are they there? Why are there not calls for them to be removed? When are we going to vote on term limits? Everyone wants them, but these people, these fucking aged out, I don't know, just pieces of, I mean, from the Cretaceous periods, these are the oldest people in the country. The average age, the average life expectancy of an American is only 78 years old. So these people are they're outliving cancer, they're outliving all the disease. They must have the best medical coverage, because this doesn't make sense. Grace Napolitano, 86 years old. Steny Hoyer from Maryland, 85. Pelosi, one of our wealthiest politicians due to insider trading, but no one is willing to go arrest her and charge her because she's a politician. So these people, not only are corrupt and they take money from whoever they want to do insider trading and with impunity, it won't be arrested, but they can literally abuse the system and break the same laws as the rest of us are beholden to because of their position. So it's like they're untouchable. The most corrupt people in the country, and no one ever does anything about it. No one makes a move. No one even proposes anything to remove them. Insane. James Claiborne, 84 years old. Bernie Sanders, 80. Good Lord. So what's this? So Grassley is almost 10 years older than old ass Bernie. Bernie's still in office. Why are these people still there? Who still wants to work at that age? But then when you realize these positions are more so just ceremonial, they're not even doing any work. They show up, they lie, they bullshit, then they're whisked away by their staff. No one holds them accountable. No fire, nobody, there's no heat. No one has any smoke for them. No one's confronting them. And then the country, and when their districts, especially these older people, because I'm noticing these are the worst districts in the country, their whole cities are just falling apart and they're not being held to account. Everyone I've named is in the 80s. We haven't even gotten to the 70s yet. 70-something years old, still active politicians in the country right now, not being voted in by regular people like you and me. We don't even understand or we don't even know why they're even still there. This is just unbelievable. You know what? Shout out to one of my followers, a friend of mine in the audience, Daniel Hecklin. He's the one who brought this to my attention. And, my audience asked, my audience shall receive. So I'm glad he brought this up to me, because this is just insane. I mean, you talk about an abuse of power in the deep state. You talk about the swamp. I'm thinking the swamp's going to be all these shady underground people, hiding in Washington behind bookcases. It's these fucking corrupt politicians. And anyone from anywhere on earth can literally give them money and tell them what to do, and they're going to do it, because that's all they do. I remember Marjorie Taylor Greene saying these people don't even want to work 2 weeks out of the year. And then they complain if they have to come in to do their job at all. Most of them, they don't want to be there. They hate it. They go in, they drop some paper off, they take off in the middle of the day. They don't do any work, nothing. One of the most cushiest, softest jobs in the country. Because once they're in and people find out, these donors, these corporations or whoever, these countries, once these people find out that they're willing to play ball, well, they'll just pay for you to stay there forever because you're going to do whatever they say without question. To hell what's best for the country. You're going to do what's best for the person paying you, and you're not going to even look into it. These aren't smart people. These are just greedy people, clever people, not people who are actually considering what's going to make America first and a priority. Why do you think they hate people like Matt Gaetz? He's actually trying to do things, actually talking about something. I remember when he literally would not vote for the speaker, and he was the only holdout, and never been done before for that long. We need younger people in there to change things so we can put back a new trajectory. Right now, we're heading into a brick wall. And I'm not happy to see it because I'm literally in this car that's about to crash into the wall.
He has now eclipsed the previous oldest record holder, which was Senator Dianne Feinstein, who was in the office at 90 when she died. There is, I think, a real question here, particularly as you get younger members coming in to the House of Representatives and even younger members coming into the Senate and younger voters who are saying, hold on a second, these guys who are hanging on to power, they don't understand us. They don't understand our financial issues. They don't understand that we can't pay rent. They don't understand AI. They don't understand social media. I mean, some of the...
Now, listen, I'm not a fucking liberal. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not going to sit here and think that, oh, it's a politician's job to make sure that I can get a job. It's a politician's job to make sure I can afford to pay rent. You're a fucking adult. You and politicians have just as much to do with each other as ants and aliens, completely disconnected. The only thing a politician can do is take the government and get the government out of my fucking way. Remove the red tape, remove the bureaucracy. Let me open my business. Don't tax the hell out of me. Don't make it impossible for me to start up. Let me go with my move. The reason people love Texas and hate California, you could never open up a restaurant in California. There's too much red tape. They'll charge you so much money for a liquor license, this license, that license, license to breed, license for people to walk in, license for people to walk out. It's too much. So people don't do it. You go to Texas, go with your move. You show up with a deposit. You can get a liquor license, depending on what part of the state you're in, 10 grand, 12 grand, something like that. You can find one. In California, you have to purchase one from somebody, and it's grandfathered in from somebody 100 years ago. You can never even be an independent owner because it requires so much money, up front. They do that to price you out and just keep the certain good old boys from however long ago, to keep them in positions of power where you have to pay them to do anything. Anything. That's why you don't see a lot of new young owners of stuff in California. But if you go to Texas, you're going to see that. You go to Florida, you'll see it. Well, maybe it depends what part of Florida. You go down to Miami, it's super expensive. And then the rest of that state, I mean, it gets ghetto as shit. So, I don't know if you really... But I mean, there's a lot of tourists there because of the weather, minus the hurricanes. Well, since Trump's been in office, we haven't had a hurricane. The first time, I guess, since, in American history, that we haven't had a hurricane hit at all this whole year, this whole hurricane season, not one. And I live in Houston. So I listen for hurricanes because I remember water coming in, and I'm still fighting with my insurance company about Hurricane Beryl. So it's a weird coincidence that since Trump became president, no hurricanes this year have hit landfall in the United States. But when Biden was president, remember North Carolina, remember Asheville, lots of tragedy. I say that to say there's nothing these people can offer us who are in office right now. They should not be there. They are the deep state. They are the enemies. We have to get them out. We actually have to start talking about this should be something people should be talking about every week until we get the attention of people who are able to make those changes, or we just go propose them ourselves. It's not rocket science. I mean, they want you to think it's really complicated. You can just do it. Start petitions, and we start gathering names, and we find out how we can start advertising that this needs to change. And you can put a billboard up telling people in the military to ignore the orders from their commander in chief. And I can put up a billboard that says, we need to get all these fucking dinosaurs out of Washington. DC is not a retirement home, or is it? According to this list, DC is absolutely a retirement home. Is that what I expect from my government, where my taxes go? When think about it, these are the people that are also writing or allegedly writing where your tax dollars are supposed to go. That's how you end up getting gender assignment dolphin classes in Bermuda and in Southwest India. Like, it's like, why am I sending? Why is money going over there? It's all just fraud and corruption. Everything is fake and gay. It's ridiculous.
Hearings in the House and the Senate have been embarrassing when you've had these senators who have basically never logged on to social media, trying to regulate social media or understand social media. So I think it is something that's been raised. And I think actually Nancy Pelosi announcing her retirement at the age of 85, has raised the question again, because it seems to me if we have a minimum limit, we should also have a maximum limit. I mean, I'm actually in favor of having some kind of term limits like they do in other countries where...
Hey, and don't get me started on Minnesota. Don't get me started on fucking Tampon Tim and all the fraud. You got to think about it. And there's no term limit for the governorship of Minnesota. So really, if Tampon Tim let the Somalians commit so much fraud that they bring their people over here more, and because he let them go through with it, they pledge their allegiance to him, he can be a king. I mean, he could literally be the emperor of that state with all the lakes. He can literally be an emperor. They can literally keep him in power. Why do you think they're practicing on how to speak Somali? See, I did a lookup the other day. There are certain blue states in the country, and each one of these blue states has a country or ethnicity of choice. Minnesota has Somalians. Ohio has Somalians and East Africans. DC, East Africans. You get to the Southwest, Mexicans. And then you get to California, Mexican, El Salvadorian. Then you get to, it's like there's certain states that specialize in certain people. You get to Michigan, you get the Arabs, and then you get the Chaldeans. But then you go to another ethnic group in the next state. And the people in these states, they specialize in dealing with the transit system of illegal migrants from their countries, because what they do is they bolster their voter rolls. And because these politicians are the ones who got you here, and they allow you to get free benefits from the American taxpayers. You know, I live in the clouds, right? You know, I used to have these fantasies, and I used to have this weird belief that everybody was like my family. See, when my family came to the United States, we didn't come here to get on welfare. We came here to work. In our country, everybody is equally poor. So no matter, you can't work hard or work more than anyone else and raise yourself up and provide for your family more. We're all just equally poor. We came here to work. If we wanted to live on welfare, we'd have stayed in Cuba. I'm wrong, because these other illegals, these other migrants, some of them work, but their family does not. Some of the men work, but the women, the sisters, the mothers, all the rest of them are collecting EBT. They're on Section 8. They're literally our Medicaid system. They're laundering cash to them through Medicaid. Thousands. And we didn't even know this as Americans, because, see, Americans are so dumb. We don't ask for anything for our vote. Depending on how you look in this country, depending on how much melanin you got in your skin, you think that politics is a popularity contest. You think you're voting for the president the way you vote for the prom king. I mean, do I like him? You like him? Do you like him? Is he nice? What do you think about his ex-girlfriend? Did he grab somebody by the vagina? He said, how many wives? You're worried about his personal life. You're not worried about how he's going to govern, his policies, the things that matter, because you're an idiot American. Now, when the illegals come here, they come here and they make a deal. This is my community. This is our block. What are you going to offer us for our votes? We're going to vote illegally, but there's no punishment. So of course we're going to vote illegally. Why wouldn't we? There's no downside. You're not going to get caught, because the person you're voting for is going to win, and they're going to cover for you anyway. So when the illegals come here, you have to pay them for their votes. In a way, and Americans don't know it, but what the illegals are getting in the immigrants is they're getting cash benefits through Medicaid by the thousands a month, free EBT. You get health care, but you also get your subsidized housing, but you have to stay loyal voters to your Democrat politicians. It's a beautiful scam. You know, Americans are too stupid, unfortunately. We're too finicky with our vote. You know, you might be a great politician, and then all of a sudden you wear some shoes where the heel's a little bit too high, and then everybody fucking slams you. And now you don't want to vote for the guy. You would rather go vote for the guy that was talking about cutting off kids' dicks. That's how it's ridiculous. Oh man, we're going to lose the midterms. So wait a minute. You're saying that somebody was like, well, I was going to vote for the conservatives that want to save the country, close the border, and boost our economy and give us jobs. But you know what? Because of what Candace Owens said, that guy that's cutting off dicks is looking really, really good. It's like, are we really that simple and stupid? That we're that easy to manipulate? And the answer is yes. See, as individuals, we're smart. You put too many Americans in a group, we get dumb. That's why we have all these dumbass game shows and dumbass reality shows. Idiotic. As individuals, you can talk to us, but that group think, that hive mind, once we all get together and you're worried about what somebody's going to think about you, you do dumbass things like leave politicians in office for almost a century. Do you know how much of a huge security blind spot that is? And I can't believe that people are not talking about this way more.
You can actually only be a member of the House of Representatives for a certain number of terms, or be a senator for a certain number of terms as well. That would stop people going into the Senate and staying there for 30, 40 years, which is the case with some of these senators. So I think it would be a great idea to have term limits.
Should Congress and the Senate have an age?
It's crazy that we even have to ask this question. Of course, there should be time limits. Of course. Or we have to vote for you every year. And what that means, you're going to have to work for our vote every year. And every year, you're going to have a new person challenging you. I'll challenge you. See, the good thing about somebody like me, if I was in Congress, if I ran and I won, or if I was a senator, is that I would literally raise the bar for what you expect from a politician. The way, like, think about it. Look how Trump is. He takes all the interviews. He answers all the questions. He's going to talk to you. Biden, you couldn't even ask him 2 questions. He starts snoring. They whisked you out of the room. But we were already used to having a president that talks to us like regular people. And if he didn't talk to us in person on a microphone, the dude was up at 4 a.m. talking shit about Rosie O'Donnell on Twitter. I need communication. I need to talk to you. I need you to talk to me. I need to know what you're saying. You need to know what I'm saying. It needs to go out to the world. And I don't need a handful of television stations to be in control of what the masses are digesting from me in my position. So say if I was in Congress or Senate and I'm a younger guy, I would literally do a show like this 3, 4, 5 days a week, talking about different topics, talking about what I'm going to vote on, talking about the bills, explaining my vote. Do you know what that's going to do to other politicians in other jurisdictions? Their constituents are going to start saying, that guy Rico Limbaugh, he's over there doing this. Why aren't you doing more interviews and being more transparent and sitting on a microphone and speaking to us? And then they're going to ask, well, why the fuck are you still in office? We need to get somebody in here who's going to talk to us. You got to think about it. Your politicians should be speaking to each other on Zoom meetings that are being posted on YouTube. The public should be involved. It should be more transparent. Everything being done behind the scenes is why the country is not necessarily moving too much in any direction except backwards. That's why we had to literally have a bill passed today by Trump saying we're going to outlaw and make it so that the government's not going to pay for children to have surgery where they mutilate their body. The goal is to become another gender. That's impossible. Did you know that? It's a fun fact in case you didn't know. 100% of all gender reassignment surgeries have failed. So what are they charging you for? I mean, if I went to a doctor and they're going to charge me, 40, 50,000 to become a woman, if I wake up after surgery without some eggs in my ass, then I want a refund. I don't know how that's not fraud. If you're a woman and you're supposed to be a man and they're going to slice off. Because you know this, you guys want to know how it works, right? I'll tell you. What they do is you ever peeled a potato? Well, they use a tool like that, and they peel and they slice the skin off of your inner thigh, and then they roll it up like a hot dog, and then they try to shape it a little bit, and then they do a fake sewing attachment to pretend that you have a member there. And in some cases, because you can't really close the vagina, I mean, there could be, you're still a woman, but you'll have a fake member there, but you'll see people have these huge grafts of skin missing from their inner thighs or their forearms. You're still a woman. Surgery failed. They took your money, but now you have to take medication for mental disorders. You have to take medications for infections. You don't want to know what it's like if you're a man wanting to pretend that you're a woman. You don't want to know what they do with your small intestines. And you don't want to know what happens when a little bit of fecal matter gets into your bloodstream. We actually had to vote on that today because we have feckless, ancient, old-ass politicians that are just watching all these things in society change, and they can't keep up with it. They don't have the mental aptitude. They've aged out. I don't know anybody as sharp as Trump that's over the age of 60-something years old. They're done working. That's retirement age for a reason. These people are just being used. They're literally tools of corruption. There's literally no other purpose they're serving. Now, this guy, Cenk, he's not really one of my favorite people. Personally, I want to fight him because he's a big dude. I'm a big dude. I seen him buff up on a few people. I want him to buff up on me. What I hate is that lately I've been agreeing with him more and more, especially about this whole Zionist Israel stuff. And I'm like, but before his TDS was off the chart, and it just disgusted me. I couldn't even watch him anymore. I used to watch the Young Turks, but then after a while, when they just started becoming deranged leftists, and I keep telling people, if you're supporting the left, you're supporting all the pedophilia, child mutilation stuff. That's it. I mean, think about it. The people that are telling you gender is a construct, they also say so is time. And if time's a construct that's man-made, like gender, then what is age? Age is just a man-made number. So really, what's an 8-year-old? I don't know. Maybe an 8-year-old's 23 and maybe a 50-year-old is 5. And that's how they muddy the waters and they go molest kids. So that's why I don't respect anybody who's on the left. You see how people talk about how they don't like Democrats and this? I told you who I don't like, and I literally gave you a detailed summary of why. Make sure everybody does that for now on when you talk to them. If somebody tells you something, if they don't have an explanation behind it, either smack them or walk away. But you have to smack some sense into people because they're in a zone. They just say stuff. It's like a knee-jerk reaction. If they can't explain their stance, it's a problem. Matter of fact, the next time you talk to somebody who's a leftist, ask them, why were you going to vote for Kamala Harris? And don't let them run. Matter of fact, corner them somewhere and be like, hey, talk to me about Kamala. What did she offer you? Because I don't know what the fuck Chuck Grassley is still offering anybody at 92 years old. Hey, I'll cough in your soup for you. I don't need you to cough in my fucking soup, Chuck. I need you to go to a home and live out the rest of your days and maybe go paint some ducks or something. I don't need you involved in policy making. But anyway, this is what, now Cenk makes some good terms. I only seen a little bit of this video, but I thought that it would relate to the topic, so I'm going to play it for you.
The number one issue for why our politicians are so old is not actually term limits. The reason they're so old is because corporate donors have gotten a return on investment from them. A new politician, well, I don't know if he's going to be the crook that I've got in Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. Yes, I said Nancy Pelosi. Whereas those guys, man, they deliver for me. Whenever I give them bribes, I mean campaign contributions, they give me the exact legislation that I want. I want them in there for 80 years, 200 years. I don't care if Mitch McConnell freezes like that. I don't care if Nancy Pelosi blames pro-Palestinian protesters on Putin or China. Keep them in office. But if you can't get money out of politics, maybe term limits. Because
but he's making a fucking good point. They only support, think about it. If I come in as the incumbent and I'm running for a seat, they're going to completely back the person who's bought and been sold for 30 years, who they know that they own. I'm a risk. So what I would have to do is find out who his donors are, go to them, put on my best Star of David lapel, wear a fake yarmulke, walk into their office with a dreidel and tell them I play ball and pretend that I'm that autistic piece of shit named Hakeem Jeffries that I can't stand, that I'm always like, what? Does he have a placard that he gets to park in the front of Walmart? Because there's no way he has to park and walk, because the guy's clearly has some kind of issues. So if I got to do what he does to get those donors, that's the only way you're going to be able to compete. The only way they're going to give you that money. Or we have to make it so that those people don't even exist. And then they're not going to just be able to fund them indefinitely to keep winning that seat over and over. It's like it's not even open to the public at that point. The whole system is corrupt. And if we can't get money if we can't take money out of politics, then we can take time out of politics and start implementing term limits, short ones.
Got to get these crooks out. But guys, the number one issue isn't the term limits, it's the money, because you're just going to buy the new guys as well. And then when the new batch comes in, they're going to buy them too. And the money in politics. But this is term limits in 60 seconds.
But look, even if they're going to buy the new people, at least the new people will be more up to date on what's happening. And there's higher odds that they might be in favor of anything that's going to be to modernize these systems and to get the politicians more involved. Right now, there's no way you're in your 70s and 80s and you're involved. I see Bernie walking around selling books. He doesn't talk about millionaires and billionaires no more because he's a millionaire. So you got to think about it. These politicians have been in office their whole lives. Most of them have never owned a business. They've never had a job. This is all they know. Have you ever met a person who's never had a job, but they're trying to talk to you about how the economy works? You look at them stupid, right? Because, sir, how the fuck would you know? That's like a single OnlyFans model trying to give me, healthy marriage advice. It's like, well bitch, how would you know? You wouldn't. It's the same thing applies here. So Jank is finally making some good points. This is a short video. We'll just listen to it one more time.
The number one issue for why our politicians are so old is not actually term limits. The reason they're so old is because corporate donors have gotten a return on investment from them. A new politician, well, I don't know if he's going to be the crook that I've got in Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi. Yes, I said Nancy Pelosi. Whereas those guys, man, they deliver for me. Whenever I give them bribes, campaign contributions, they give me the exact legislation that I want. I want them in there for 80 years, 200 years. I don't care if Mitch McConnell.
That was a good one. The way he froze when he was talking about Mitch. Look, we get the point. And you know what? Daniel Hecklin, that's my guy who actually told me to do the video and sent me this topic. He says, my nana's 90. He said 92 years old for Grassley. He was like, my nana's 72 and she broke 2 ribs leaning over her couch to grab the TV remote. That's what I mean. By a certain age, some of these people need to be just focused on staying alive and living. You don't need to be, but think about it. These politicians are not even focused on the job. Think about it. Diane, what was that woman that they were pushing around in that fucking hospital bed and showing up to? Jimmy Carter, they did it with him too. He was dead when he showed up to that other person's funeral. He wasn't even there. He was in a hospital bed, just like it was a corpse. And they're just wheeling them around. They're just draining you. They talk about how many dead people are on voter rolls, how many dead people get EBT benefits. I wonder how many dead people are literally winning political seats and their, wife or their staff doesn't want to lose their job. They're just pretending that he's on a sabbatical or he's in a hospital or he's on vacation in Bermuda, the Bermuda Triangle. But he sent us this letter and said, vote for this because they're still taking in that money. Bro, there are so many, this country is so full of so many scams. I mean, I'm hearing about the Somalians. I'm hearing about this group and that group. And then this whole country is just it's just like a big broken ATM, except You have to have a foreign accent to get access to the free money that's going out there. It's literally insane. We need term limits because it seems like we're never going to be able to get money out of politics. People just aren't willing to turn it down. If I ran for office, depending on what I'm doing, I'll say, look, I wouldn't even, what do I need to check for? But then again, if that's your only job, then I can understand why you don't want to turn down the money, but at least work for it. Why every politician doesn't have a YouTube channel and they can sit there and you can get to know them and they can tell you what they think about certain things. Why this isn't the norm, why what I'm doing is not demanded of everybody, even these old ass fucking crypt keepers that are literally in politics. I don't know. It just seems like we have a very low threshold of what we demand. We need to get back to making demands or pulling our votes or telling them, you know what, we're going to just up in the system and we're going to figure out how to get you out of office. We need to make good on those threats. We have to get these people out, or we have to implement term limits, but we can't just talk about it. We have to be about it. Any politician that won't get on a microphone and a camera and sit there and talk to people live and take comments and do this several days a week so that he can be in touch with his constituents and he can know what's going on in his area, then they shouldn't be in office. They should be a failed politician. What I'll do is this. I'll run for something small. I'll do something small to start. Before my aspirations get too big, I'll do something small to start, and then I'll just show you how I do that position, how every day I'm talking about the job and the different questions from the people that voted me in and things they asked for. And I'll let the people elevate me because transparency like this is addictive. People love the truth. Why do you think people love Candace? She's authentic, but she's being honest. Why do you think people hate other people that are politicians or people that you, because they're lying to you and they hide from you? They're like gutter rats or roaches. They're in the shadows. They're all in clandestine. They're all, oh, there's all these people. No. You should be able to talk to me. We're in the age of the internet. There's cameras. You don't have to come in. We don't have to meet at a building. We don't have to get all formal. Put on some sweats and talk to me. You're the person in charge. I voted for you, right? You have my support, right? Well, give me my money's worth. Give me my vote's worth. What are you offering me for my vote? And matter of fact, I want you to make good on it. Talk to me. Where are we at with that? What's the progress on these projects? But they don't care about the progress. They don't care about reporting to you because no one holds them to account. And they're never going to see you. They're never going to bump into you anywhere. They live in a different universe than you live in. And might as well, technically. They're whisked away in their little country clubs and their little neighborhoods. The least they could do is get on camera and talk to people and just answer questions about policies and what they are doing. Once people if I start running and people get used to this, they're going to demand it from others, and we're going to have more transparency, and we're not going to be like Cash Patel and Bongino lying to everybody, resigning because you can't tell the truth. In my position, we can talk. We can tell the truth. We can be honest, and we can tell people the progress. We can report to you, but shouldn't as politicians, they should be reporting to us anyway. Why do I got to come in here and start this new standard of doing things? It should have already been there. But the problem is with these politicians, this has been their only job their whole life. We would call those people new money. See, I've been successful pretty much my entire adult life. I'm used to money. I don't need a Ferrari. I don't need a helicopter. I don't need to buy a plane. Those fucking things keep crashing. You see the NASCAR guy, he put his whole family on a plane. That's a lot of eggs in one basket. And the plane crashed. His wife, 2 kids passed away. Rest in peace to them. It happened in North Carolina today. That's a lot of eggs in one basket. We need to spread things out. So again, eventually I'm going to, whenever I do win something, you'll see how the people that voted for me, you'll see how I talk to them and how I'm consistently dealing with them, because it doesn't get any easier than talking to a camera. I mean, why are you running for something if you don't want to talk to people? That's the wrong position to be in. Go be a janitor somewhere. You don't have to talk to anybody, just mop. But for me, if I want to talk to people, this is how you do it. We got to come up with new standards. We got to show people, we got to make demands and show them what we want to see. We got to use other people as examples. I just don't see anybody as this transparent besides my guy, Trump. Call him what you want, but he's not afraid to talk to the people and tell you what he thinks. That inspires me. I like it. So I want to be like that. So that's what I'm doing. I'm here. So, you know, if you guys have other suggestions about stories or any other topics you want me to talk about, you're more than welcome to leave them in the chat. You can email me. People send me deposits on my PayPal. I don't even ask for anything. I mean, it's in my description, but you don't have to. I just appreciate you guys tuning in and liking the content. I'm getting more and more subscribers. I appreciate that. I mean, I try to shout you guys out and tell you thank you for your support. I might go out for drinks, but to be honest, when I'm hungover, I don't feel like doing anything, barely working. So that's why I'm like, maybe I got to cut down on drinking because there's so much stuff to talk about. There's no such thing as a slow day in media, especially in 2025. So I might just stay here and do another episode in about 30 minutes, go grab a snack and come back. So share the video, put me into the algorithm by liking it, send it around, ask people to follow. I'd really appreciate it. I'll be back shortly with another topic. Remember, America first, America.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.